everybody. I'll just give you all a sec to jump on in and connect up to your audio, and then we're going to get started. Right, hello, everybody. Chelsea McGill from Mixing It Real, Thermomix consultant, and tonight I am here to present to you a little cooking class on meal prep. I am just going to hit the record button, actually. It's already automatically recorded. I'm on the ball tonight for once. So last week I popped in my stories some meal prep that I had done to make my life easier. And there was so much interest from you guys about how you can use a Thermomix to help you do some meal prep. A lot of you are already doing meal prep. Some of you were wanting to do meal prep but didn't really know where to start. And some of you were kind of a little bit hit and miss. So I would love if you could pop in the chat and let me know, where are you zooming in from tonight? Where are you watching? And how are you with your meal prep? Is it something that you're doing religiously, something that you'd like to be doing, something that you don't really do at all? Pop in the chat and let me know. Lovely. Hi, Krista from Perth. I have had a bit of a hay fever reaction and I've got this funny swollen eye. So if you can notice that, I look a bit lopsided tonight, a little bit like this, which is super fun. But the perks of spring in Melbourne, right? All right. So pop in the chat. Let me know, where are you from and where are you at with your meal prep? Is it something that you do, something you'd like to do, or something that you don't even know where to start? Awesome. So while you guys are doing that, I'm just going to bring up my bits and bobs. Now, I would like to let you know that it's just me tonight. I do normally do cooking classes with other consultants, but I was a bit silly and forgot that tonight is team meeting night. So all of my fellow consultants are at our team meeting. So here I am by myself, which is fine. I do enjoy working by myself, but just means you need to bear with me because I am kind of responding to chat at the same time as cooking, all of the things. Now, I do ask, if you guys feel free to interact as much as possible, ask all the questions. The more questions you ask, the more you're going to get out of the class. But please just stay on mute, because when you come off mute, a bit of background noise can make it hard for others to hear. So just using our chat box there for me tonight. I would love if you could ask anything that you like along the way. Now, I will shoot through after the class, either tonight or tomorrow at some stage, a little bit of an ebook that I've put together with some of the recipes for tonight and just some tips and tricks around meal prep. Now, I do just want to start off by saying I am not a dietitian in any way, shape, or form. But I am just somebody who loves using a Thermomix to meal prep to make my life easier. And I will share just some bits and pieces that I've kind of learned over the years when it comes to, food and nutrition. But please do not take my advice, like the Holy Grail, because as I said, I'm not a dietitian, just here to share what I kind of know with you guys. So we are going to get started. So tonight we're going to be doing a couple of different dishes and we're going to talk about meal prep along the way. I will read your comments in just a moment, but the first recipe that we're going to start off with is a quiche Lorraine. Now, I make this recipe very often. I'm just going to move my light. Sorry, I feel that's a bit far away. Just trying to make it a little bit lower. There we go. That's better. Sorry about that, guys. So this is a recipe that I make quite often for my lunches. It is something that I love. It is really quick and easy. It's packed full of protein. It's got some veggies in it, and it is one that is on Cookie Dough, but I have made some changes to it. So I have turned it into my own recipe based off the quiche Lorraine on Cookie Dough. This is what I tend to do quite a lot. I'm not someone who really develops recipes from scratch. Occasionally I do, but I do just tend to make changes to recipes to kind of suit my diet or my style of eating a little bit better. So the quiche Lorraine is a beautiful recipe, but I just feel that it could be made a little bit healthier and perfect for meal prep. So when I go into my Cookie Dough, is anybody using created recipes on their Thermomix and their Cookie Dough, whether you're creating your own or if you are editing recipes or importing from Recipe Community, things like that. But I've got it in my weekly planner here, or you would find it in my recipes, created recipes, if you are adding your own recipes. Now, you may notice your created recipes look a little bit different to what the cookie dough recipes do. It's a little bit more of like a pared back version of cookie dough, but it's still got all of our great things like ingredients, preparation steps. You won't notice any nutritional value on these ones because that hasn't been inputted. Just kind of thinking my eyes getting worse and worse as the night goes on. But you can work out your nutritional value based off the original cookie dough recipe. I did work this one out. This one has about 450 calories in a slice, and it's got about close to 40 grams of protein. So it's a really good one. Kim, what are you doing, mate? No. Sorry. Don't you love when children, we have a very strict rule, do not touch my charger cords. Yeah. He always seems to touch my charger cord. Have kids, they say. So the quiche Lorraine on cookie dough does say it serves 8. It absolutely does not serve 8. Sometimes I do wonder who comes up with the portion sizes on our cookie dough recipes. I like to cut this one into 4. 4 is the perfect serve for a nice lunch or a dinner for yourself. So we're going to hit our start cooking button. As I said, I've made a few changes along the way here. And the first thing we're going to do is grate a little bit of cheese. Now, you can use whatever cheese you like. So just want 50 grams of Tasty. I've just got some Tasty here. Oh, it's about 42. That's going to be too much, but that's okay. So I've got 65, a little bit over. Popping our lid on, 5 seconds, and around to speed 7. If you've ever seen me cook before, you will have heard me say how much better grated cheese is, block cheese that you grate yourself versus bagged grated cheese. It is better for you. It's also cheaper when you're buying it this way, especially now that we have reduced the price of cheese blocks again. Cheese blocks got up to about $13 a kilo. We're back down to $9 a kilo, which is where it used to sit, which brings it in at a much cheaper rate than buying a bag of grated cheese. So in 7 seconds, you can grate up that cheese perfectly. You can also leave the cheese off if you like. It is not a be all and end all. Up to you. Pop that one in a bowl and hit that next button. You do not need to wash your bowl between that step. Is anybody grating their own cheese at the moment? Pop it in the chat and let me know. So it wants us to preheat an oven and grease a quiche tin. And then our next step, we're going to make a bit of pastry here. So is anyone making their own pastry in their thermo? I've just got to grab a little bit more flour. Anyone making their own pastry? Pop it in the chat. Let me know if you are. Love making pastry. It is so much quicker than buying it from the shop even, and it tastes so much better. Once you make your own pastry, it's really hard to go back to store-bought. So we need 75 grams of unsalted butter. Chilled is best. When it's been on the bench, it will go soft, as mine is a little bit soft because I forgot how warm it is tonight. I'm sorry, I should have cut this one up before. So it's going in with some butter. I think I said unsalted. I use salted for everything because salted butter tastes better in baking, cooking, but that is personal preference. So we've got our 75 grams of butter, and then we want 150 grams of wholemeal flour. As I said, just a slightly healthier version of our quiche Lorraine here. If you don't have wholemeal flour and you want to use white, that is absolutely fine. The wholemeal just has that little bit of extra goodness in it. And then a little bit of salt and some water. We do want it to be chilled water. Again, when we're making pastry, if it gets too warm, it can just be really hard to work. Now you want to pour it nice and slowly here, using those scales to go up to 50 grams. We know I'm a bit of a haphazard cook, but if we go over that with our liquid, we're going to end up with quite a sticky pastry, which we don't want. So 15 seconds, speed 4. And now my thing doesn't want to be working. I'm looking at it from upside down. So it's a fun view. What is going on? Excuse me, guys. Not sure what is happening tonight, but it does not want to go to the speed I want. Let me just go back into my recipes or into my week. And back into our healthier quiche Lorraine. And I will share this recipe with you when I send you that email, and you are able to add it to your own cookie dough if you would like as well. Let me just try again. There we go. I'm not sure what happened there. Sorry about that. 15 seconds. And around to speed 4. Josie's making pastry only if it's part of a recipe. Yeah, understand that. Zoe's buying a block of, oh, yum. Yes, delicious. The grana padana. I don't know if I've said that right. From Aldi. Grating it and popping it in the freezer. So grated cheese doesn't need anti-caking agents in it. You can keep it in the freezer and it will stay perfectly fresh. So we have some pretty good looking pastry there. I'm just going to scrape down around the sides. And then we have just another 5 seconds there. And then that is our pastry done. It is literally that quick and easy. Just a couple of ingredients and a couple of steps to make fresh pastry in your Thermomix. There we go. We have just made a wholemeal pastry, which we're going to pop out onto our Thermomat. Now, when you're working with a dough, you want to twist your blades back and forward until you feel it drop off. That one's pretty easy because it's not a huge amount. Now, your pastry will generally come out a bit bally into pieces. Sometimes it can even look a little bit floury. Totally fine. Do not stress. You just want to grab it with your hand and give it a little bit of a rub together. My butter, as I said, was a little bit softer, so it has formed quite nicely. Pop that in your mat, and it does want you to transfer and shape on your mat, and then using a rolling pin, roll out your pastry on your Thermomat and pop it into your quiche tin. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to the next step because we're going to do a little bit of sauteing and then I'm going to come back to that. So we're going to pop some bacon in now. I am somebody who does not like bacon cubes. Is anybody with me there? Bacon cubes just gross me out. I think they are gross. I don't know what it is about bacon cubes. I don't know how much bacon's actually in a bacon cube. So I just like to, if I ever get a recipe that asks for bacon cubes, grab my rashers. I've just got some shortcut rashers, cut them into 3, pop them in the bowl. And we're going to chop our bacon rashers. Make sure they're sitting on your blades. And we're just going to do a very quick 1 second. So we've just got 1 second on our timer, going around to speed 5. Now, we don't want to puree our bacon, which can happen if we go too fast. So 1 second is perfect. Have a little look. And they've, other than these little bits here, my bacon looks great. But what I'm going to do is just give that a little scrape. Make sure those big bits are sitting at the bottom. And it does say repeat if needed. So what I'm going to do is, not turn it to 24 seconds, 1 second. And around to speed 5. And I'm just going to stop it at about half a second. I just want to chop that last little bit of bacon. And there we go. Bacon cubes, diced bacon, perfectly. None of those yucky bits from the shop. And then we're going to pop our lid on, and we've got 3 minutes, 120 degrees, and on speed slow. I think the original recipe does ask if you wanted to add some oil, but I don't think it's necessary. We don't need any oil. So we are just going to saute with that little bit of fat that the bacon produces. So while that is happening, we're going to grab out our Thermomat. Now, is anybody using a Thermomat at home at the moment for any of your doughs, your baked goods, bits and pieces. Sometimes they are non-stick. Yes, Josie's using hers all the time. Amazing. They are non-stick, but because it's quite warm tonight, I did say my butter was a little bit soft from sitting on the bench while I was prepping. So I'm just going to put just a really light sprinkle of flour. A little bit of flour. Then grab your quiche tin and have a little bit of a measure using your lines on your thermomat here. What size do you need your pastry to be? So my quiche tin goes to about 24 centimeters, and then I've got the lip on it. So I'm going to want to use the 28 centimeter ring to get a nice size pastry. If you've ever seen me cook before, you will know I'm terrible at getting things the right shape or size, but I figure we're all about rustic here, right? Homemade and rustic, lovely. Don't need to look store-bought. So see how you go. If you can get it round, great. If you can't, that's okay too. I feel like I'm getting better, but I'm still not great. So I'm just lifting it to stop it from sticking, moving it around my mat, and I just want to come and roll it a little bit larger to that size that I've measured at, so going out to that 28 centimeters. Now, look, I wouldn't say that's a circle, but it's not, I've done much worse. Maria really struggles as well. Rustic is good. Thank you, Leanne. So quick little measure. It looks a little bit like Australia from this angle, but that looks pretty good to me. Pick it up and pop it into your quiche tin. Try not to put holes in it if you've got nails or if you're a bit rough like I can be. If we pop a hole in it, we're going to lose our quiche mixture out of the hole, which we don't want while it's cooking in the oven. So go around, push it down a little bit, flip any extra over the edge, and then nice little trick, use your rolling pin. Just roll over the edge and scrape off any of that extra pastry that you don't need. You can leave it overhanging if you like, it's fine. It's up to you. And there we have our perfect wholemeal quiche pastry. Give it a little stab with it just lightly, not all the way through, just into the top of the pastry like that. Thanks, Josie. Looks pretty perfect. And we're going to continue on. So we're going to add some veggies into this one. My goal this year has really been to increase my veggies. I make sure, my kids eat their however many serves of fruit and veg every day, but I can be a little bit slack at it. So I'm just trying to work out ways that I can incorporate more veggies into my diet in the easiest way possible. So it wants you to drain your bacon through your simmering basket. And that will drain out any fat that you've got in there. So it doesn't look like there's a whole lot, but if you've got quite a fatty bacon, just pop it over the sink or over a bowl, scrape around. I don't know if you can hear my kids fighting in the background. Seems to be all they do these days. All right, so let it sit in the simmering basket there for a moment. Again, there is no need to wash your bowl. I will eliminate washing bowls as much as possible in any recipe. Bringing this one back over. Excuse me, moving you around. I have moved house recently and my kitchen is not great. Brown for one, but it's just very, very small. It's a great size kitchen, but there's no bench space. It does my head in. Having two thermos on here and all my bits and pieces, I'm like, oh, I miss my massive bench. So our next step is we're going to make our quiche mixture. So we're going in with 4 eggs, which my husband kindly cracked for me earlier. 4 eggs. Eggs are so high in protein, which is going to keep us full for longer, which is what we want when we are meal prepping. High protein is super important. And then some oat milk. You can use regular milk if you like. I recently become lactose intolerant. I said that as I grated regular cheese, but I can have a little bit of regular cheese. I'm okay. I just can't have a lot, but I have eliminated milk pretty much fully from my diet. So I like this oat milk, the macro organic oat milk. You can make your own oat milk, almond milk in your Thermomix. Is a great way to do it if you need milk alternatives. I make so many things just in my time constraints. Milk is something that I choose to buy, but be very careful if you are buying any plant-based milks. milk alternatives because a lot of them are filled with quite nasty oils, which aren't great for us. So check your labels. This one has no oil in it, which is perfect. It is a good way to reduce the calories as well, though. Something like oat milk is much lighter in calories. So if you are wanting to reduce your calories for your meal prep, doing something like switching from a full cream milk to a light milk or an oat milk can be really helpful. So we are going to go in with 50 grams of our oat milk, which we've done, and then 100 grams of plain Greek yogurt, which I actually forgot to buy this week. So I am just going to use some coconut cream. You could use coconut cream, you could use sour cream, any of those things. My coconut cream's a little bit solidified. I'm going to go in with coconut cream. That is just going to thicken it up nicely for us. So we've got our coconut cream, lactose-free yogurt, milk, whatever, sorry, not milk, cream, whatever it is that you're using, a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Then we're going to pop our lid on. And we're going to whiz that one around for 30 seconds on speed 4. And while that is going, we are going to pop our quiche together. So I'm going to pop some baby spinach on the bottom. Nice greens. What kind of veggies would you be adding if you were making this quiche, Lorraine, at home? What would you like to pop in it? It'll be your choice of veggies. Got some quiche. We've got some spinach for my quiche. Going to grab out my bacon that was draining. I'm going to sprinkle my bacon around as well. Now, if you wanted to get even more protein into this, you could use chicken or you could use beans of some kind. A quiche is so versatile. You really can put whatever you want in it. There is no rule. As I said, when we're meal prepping, we want nice, high protein meals that are going to keep us full up for longer. I do also would normally do like some pumpkin, little tiny cubes of pumpkin, but I didn't have any pumpkin this week. I did have some carrots that need using as well. Meal prep is a great way to use up the remaining veggies and fruit that are in your fridge, pantry, things that might go off that you haven't used. Think about how you can incorporate those into your meal prep to be using them. I've got some little cherry tomatoes there as well, just cut in half. I don't like to leave them whole because I find then they explode when I eat them, and it was just a bit awkward. So you don't need many, maybe about 8 tops. So I've got my spinach, my bacon, my carrot, and my cherry tomatoes. And we're going to top with this one, which is our egg mixture. Pour it around nice and evenly. And that egg mixture will like rise up in the oven and sit a little bit higher there as well. Bit of that cheese that we grated earlier. My little teeny tiny bench. Where did I put that? Seriously, I thought I was going crazy and lost my cheese. Have a sprinkle of cheese if you're using it. As I said, it is optional. Bit of cheese. I may as well use the rest. That seems wasteful, doesn't it? And into the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes, depending on your oven. And there we have our first recipe. Perfect for meal prep, perfect for a quick midweek dinner as well, if you like. But that is a really great one to make. I like to eat my quiche cold. I think it's really yummy cold. So I will slice it up when it's cooled and pop it in a container, and then I can just grab a slice, and that is my lunch for the week. So absolutely perfect. So we would do broccoli, pumpkin, and zucchini. Yum, great choices. I thought asparagus might be really nice as well. Dee said caramelized onion and top up with brie cheese. Oh, that sounds amazing, Dee. Love it. So our next recipe that we're going to move on to tonight, back into our weekly planner. And another one of my favorite meal prep recipes is our pasta with tuna. So pasta with tuna is a really, really simple recipe. It is a basic cookie dough recipe, so you can find it on there. Um, 5 minutes prep, 30 minutes total, and 4 portions. So from memory, I did get 5 out of this one. I did find that it was quite large. Put all our ingredients, utensils, hints, tips, tricks, and our nutritional value down here. It's about 528 calories, and there's 30 grams of protein in this one. So another great option for a midweek meal that can be done in a really short amount of time. So it wants a lemon zest. I don't really want lemon in this one. So I am just going to skip past that. Remember, it is guided cooking. It is not set in stone. So we can do some Parmesan cheese, which is, again, optional. But I do like my Parmesan. So I'm going to pop that one in. Just 50 grams. Hit that next button, lid on, and around to the And this one here, we're going to add a little bit of veg to it as well. So this recipe doesn't have any veggies in it, but I'm going to use my Varoma to add some veg. As I said, bit of my goal this year to up my veg intake. So in that 10 seconds, we've got our perfectly grated cheese, Parmesan. Putting into our bowl. I just say clean and dry mixing bowl. As I said, I'm always about skipping that. And the only thing is it's cheese, so you can get a little bit of browning on the bottom of the bowl, but I don't mind that at all. We're going to go in with some garlic cloves. Has anyone noticed the garlic heads at the moment are tiny? The last month or so, I've been getting the smallest garlic. It's killing me. I need about 8 cloves to every one that the recipe asks for. And remember, always double your garlic. All your cookie do recipes need extra garlic. Don't be afraid to add more. It is guided cooking. It is not set in stone. So make those changes to suit you, your diet, and the way you like to eat. So we've chopped up that garlic in just a couple of seconds. Nice and small. I think I'm with 30 grams of olive oil. Now, I do find when I am trying to make my meals a little bit healthier, sometimes the Thermomix recipes do have quite a lot of oil in them. 15 to 20 grams is more than enough for me, just again, my personal preference. So I just choose to reduce the oil that goes into my meal. You do need a little bit of oil. It is a stainless steel bowl. And let's not take all the fun and deliciousness out of everything. But feel free to reduce it down slightly if you'd like. So we've got our lid on and we've got 2 minutes on 120 degrees. And we're just going to do a little bit of sauteing there. So while that is happening, for those of you that are meal prepping, just flicking back through your comments there, a couple of you did say that you are meal prepping. What's your favorite thing to meal prep? What is your go-to if you are doing it? Have you got a go-to dish that you like to make? As I said, when I send through a bit of an ebook later on, there will be some of my favorite meal prep recipes in there that we're not making tonight. So I've got a couple of week suggestions for you of like a breakfast and a lunch and a snack that you could make in one go at the start of the week. So I like to spend my Monday morning. So I know some people like to spend their Sunday doing it, whatever works for you. And I like to go through and do a little bit of meal prep. What's up? Okay. Love you. Sorry, guys. So I like to do a little bit of meal prep on my Monday morning, making my lunch for the week. I find if I don't make my lunch for the week, I end up buying it or eating things that aren't keeping me full, which means I'm then snacking for the rest of the day. So making a really high protein meal is going to help to keep you fuller for longer, which means less snacking, which is a win for everything. Prepping veggies to make it easier to do dinner. I love that, Tracy. That is a great idea. And Krista said boiled eggs and overnight oats. So overnight oats are a favorite of mine. In my ebook that I'm going to send through, I really like the almond and apple overnight oats that are packed full of gut health, which is also a win. I just make it in a container and leave it in there. And then each morning I can just grab my serve out, or you might like to make it in smaller portion containers as well, which is great. But overnight oats are a really good idea for breakfast as well. I just get up, they're ready to go, and away we go. When we're doing meal prep, for those of you that aren't doing it at the moment, you want to start small. Don't make it too difficult for yourself. Pick a really easy dish that you can make, even if you're only doing 4 portions. I don't ever do 7 because I'm never going to eat 7 of the same thing in a week. I'll find that I might end up busy or out or something like that. So I try to do like 4 to 5 portions. I find is kind of the magic number for me, keeping me on track and ensuring that I don't waste anything because I don't want that to happen. So we've just sauteed down our garlic and it smells absolutely beautiful. We're going to go in with 400 grams of canned tomatoes. It says chopped. I think I've got diced. All good. I do like to buy the Italian tomatoes. They've got that little bit of extra flavor in them as well. 50 grams of dry white wine to taste. Please do not judge my cask of wine. I don't drink cask wine. No, nothing against anybody out there that does drink cask wine. I personally don't. This is my cooking wine, though. We're going in with 50 grams. This is perfect for cooking. It's about $10, and because it's in a cask, it stays fresh, so it doesn't ferment on you and go yucky. So it is the perfect wine to have in the cupboard for cooking. Around 500 grams of water. Meal prep in a Thermomix is much easier than doing it manually because you've got your scales. So it's weighing everything for you. Lots of weighing if you're getting serious about your calories, your protein, that kind of stuff. But just being able to do so many things in a short amount of time is what I love. So I can do all of my meal prep, like a breakfast, a lunch, and a snack in an hour. It would take me so much longer if I was doing that manually. So 2 tablespoons of veggie stock paste. Don't be shy with your stock. Going to add lots and lots of yummy flavor. I did just make a new batch last week. Is everyone making their veggie stock paste or chicken stock or anything like that? We're going to put our lid on, and we've got 10 minutes on this one, speed 1 and on 100 degrees. So we are heating up our sauce, and in a moment we are going to add our pasta into that. This is a 1-pot dish, which is another thing that I love about it. Perfect for meal prep because it is so fast and easy. So we will come back to our tuna pasta in just a moment. Just going to grab my last bowl. And we are going to make one of my favorite fast breakfasts. Does anybody make Cada? Cada. Has anybody had it before? It is essentially a fresh muesli. So we're heading back into our week. I love this one. It also, you might find it called 5-second breakfast. Hit that start cooking button. So, I just had my arm on my thermo, so let's tear that off. 40 grams of fresh coconut flesh. That is not something that I keep in my house. So I'm just going to use some desiccated coconut, shredded coconut, whatever kind of dried coconut I have in my cupboard this week. If you haven't made Cada before, some have. 40 grams of our coconut, 40 grams of almonds. This one is seriously so fast and easy. Almonds, I always forget how heavy almonds are. So go slow with your almonds. You don't need many. Top tip for almonds, if you are doing a bit of meal prep, you'll find that they are used in overnight oats, bliss balls, things like that. So buy a big bag. I buy the 750 gram bag from Woolies, which is about $12. Or I'm sure you can get it from your nut store, that kind of thing as well, but much cheaper than buying small bags. You'll spend a fortune if you're buying 100 to 200 grams at a time. The other thing with meal prep is we want to keep the costs down. So 40 grams of pitted dates. I just use the dried ones. Again, just the Woolies brand. Nothing fancy. 40 grams of those. Sometimes I like to go a little bit extra. I love dates. They are delicious. So if you want to put a little bit more, that is fine. And then I've got a red apple, just cored, cut into 4. And we're going to pop our lid on. What have I done with my lid? Sorry, everyone. I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached to my body. I didn't grab it, that's why. All right. Lid on. Now, when you hit the next button, we're going to go into our turbo mode. So turbo is our fast, hard chopping. So we go from 0 to 10 kind of instantly. So we've got 1 second on speed 10, and it says turn speed selected 2 to 3 times. Now, we are using raw almonds. Raw almonds flicking around a Thermomix bowl at full speed can be a little bit loud, so you may not hear me for it. Have a little look through the lid because you don't want to overdo it. Again, a little bit like your bacon before. Less is more. We don't want to end up with a pureed breakfast. When we're using the turbo mode, it always is a little bit slow to open, which is really normal. And it has missed one little chunk of apple, which is fine. I'll eat that in a moment. But there we go. We have our Carter, our 5-second breakfast, our fresh muesli, whatever it is that you want to call it, it is done. It is that simple. And that has made us 4 portions from memory. We'll just hit our dots and go back to our recipe detail, scroll down and see 4 servings of that one. Absolutely delicious. Now, I like to store this one in my vacuum seal containers. Does anybody have vacuum seal? I'm going to get rid of my tray. And I'm going to put this one into here. And I can use my vacuum seal wand to remove the air out of my container, which means that my Carter is going to stay fresh for the 4 days. If you've got a really good airtight container, it will stay fresh as well. But just to make sure, or I could make a larger batch. I could do like a 6 serving quite easily with that one and pop that in my vacuum seal. So there we have our fresh muesli or our Carter, 4 ingredients, and literally takes 35 seconds maybe all up. Great question about this. I've cooked it into porridge before. Yum, Leanne, delicious. I do have these, have this with yogurt. So we're going to talk more about that in a moment. So I have made some yogurt to show you guys. But super fast breakfast. I really like it with some protein yogurt. I make soy protein yogurt, which again we'll talk about in a sec. Big scoop of that with a really big scoop of yogurt is a brilliant 5-second breakfast, ready to go in your fridge, and will stay fresh for a couple of days, which is awesome. Nice and healthy, filled with goodness, lots of protein, so will keep you full as well. Some of my other favorite breakfast options are things like overnight oats. There are some great recipes on Cookie Do, or you can Google them as well. You may want to add some protein powder into your overnight oats for that extra hit of goodness as well. My protein yogurt I love, and also things like little egg cups. You know, you can whip up in your thermo, chop up some bacon, some eggs, whatever, some veggies that you like, pop them into muffin molds and bake them in the oven for 15 minutes or so. There are some great recipes on Cookie Do as well. And that is another great option for a really fast breakfast. You can just get them out of the fridge and kind of go each morning, which is awesome. Our vacuum seals are amazing. Zoe, if you haven't used them yet, you've got to get onto it. So you pop your lid on. They come in 3 different sizes. This is the medium size. Your little wand here. And turn it on. You may not be able to hear it because I'm wearing AirPods, but it will start to suck the air out. And you will see in about 30 seconds or so, this little white bit will pop down. That means that you've removed all the air from your vacuum seal and your food is going to stay fresh for ages. It will keep your meats fresher, your veggies fresher. If you want to meal prep veggies for dinner, or if you want to meal prep fruits and things like that, you can vacuum seal and they will stay fresh for ages. So really going to help you with your meal prep and your wastage. You can get the vacuum seals at the mix shop. There is the 2 sizes available. Our larger size is a host reward only, or at the moment, if you don't currently have a TM6, our gift with purchase is a second bowl and a set of the vacuum seals, which is amazing. If you know anybody who might be in the market for a TM6, we do have a $100 mix shop thank you when your friend purchases after you pop them in touch with your consultant. How's that going to? There we go. Sometimes I'm like, that feels like it's been taking a while. I think that one's going to go flat in a moment. There we have it. So $100 thank you if you pop someone in contact with your consultant and they do purchase. So you'll get a $100 mix shop voucher and you might be able to treat yourself to some vacuum seals. Now, when you unclip it, like that lid will not come off. Good way to hide treats from your kids as well. If your kids are like mine and eat all the delicious food that you buy that they're not meant to, put it in the vacuum seal and they won't be able to get it out. You can also set your date, day and month here, so you know exactly when something goes in, which is awesome. But that is our carta with 5-second breakfast, fresh muesli, made in just a couple of seconds. Just going to give my bowl a wash, bit of a rinse, and I've got one more dish to show you tonight. Having an extra bowl is super handy when you are doing your vacuum seal, when you are doing your meal prep. Let me say that again. Having a second bowl is super handy when you are doing your meal prep because it is a great way to be able to chop and change and get more done in an even shorter amount of time. If you don't have a second bowl, they do go on sale when we do Black Friday, which will be November. So next month, towards the end of next month, I think is Black Friday. They are normally something like 20% off. So it is a good time to grab yourself a second bowl if you don't have one. And of course, if you don't currently have a TM6, we do have it free as a gift with purchase, which is amazing. And something that is very exciting that we have just found out about tonight is that our TM5 trade up is coming back for about a week and a half for a last chance. So if you do have a TM5 or you know anyone with a TM5, they can upgrade to a TM6, $380 off the cost of their TM6 plus the current gift with purchase, which will be the free bowl and the vacuum seals, or from tomorrow, free bowl and a $200 Woolies voucher. So just an amazing time to get a Thermomix. So if you know anyone, please send them our way and we can have a chat to them and we can reward you with that voucher. Or if you don't currently have a TM6, we'd love to have a chat about that. So back on into our weekly planner. And our last dish tonight is not in there. I tricked you. I'm going to go into my recipes and created recipes. So these are my granola bars. Now, I made this recipe last week. This is one that I actually created myself with a little bit of help from some of the things on the internet. Out of bench space. So just grabbing my last things. And everybody went absolutely nuts for these. I couldn't believe it. And I actually haven't replied to everybody on Instagram because there was about 150 comments and I now have to DM everybody the recipe. So I'm going to get around to doing that. But if you did see my granola bars, let's watch this live, do this together. So these are my high protein granola bars. They've got about 200 calories and 12 grams of protein per bar. So these came to about 71 cents per bar to make. If you're buying protein bars, is anyone buying protein bars at the moment? Protein bars, granola bars, muesli bars, things like that. If you are, pop it in the chat. But I used to buy like the Aussie Body mini protein bars, which were $10 for a box of 4, so $2.50 each. So these come to just 71 cents and they've got the same amount, if not more, protein. Things like granola bars don't tend to have a lot of protein in it, very high in sugar and high in cost as well. So making something like this is a great meal prep dish, really, really fast and easy. This makes 18. I still have some frozen from last week, so I just had like 7 defrosted for the week, and the rest I put into my freezer, and they froze really, really well. I defrosted some more this morning. In hindsight, that was a bad idea because I'm about to make another batch with you guys. But this one here is another created recipe, so you will notice cookie dough looks a little bit different. We'll hit that next button. We'll just continue with this recipe over here. So 300 grams of penne pasta. Now I have bought the high protein better smart pasta. So twice the protein, 25% less carbs. This is just one that I like using. I do find it doesn't take quite as long to cook as some of the other ones do. So just watch that you don't overcook it, especially when we're cooking it in the thermo. I've got 70 grams left, so to be honest, I'm just going to pop it in there. A little bit extra never hurt anyone. And then a 425 gram can of tuna, which I did ask my husband to open for me, and I think he forgot because I despise opening cans. Can anyone tell me why tuna is like the only thing left that we actually have to use a can opener for? Why does tuna not have a ring pull? Can anybody answer me that? Because it does my head in. Beetroot. Beetroot's the other one. Beetroot and tuna. Drain your tuna. Get rid of that water. I like to buy the spring water tuna. The oil one is quite oily. Just personal preference though. Give it a bit of a strain. Sorry. So 425 gram can of tuna. Some brands have a ring pull, Josie says. Oh, Josie, I'm going to try to find them because that does my head in. I'm just going to pop our lid on. But now we're going to add some veggies to this one. So when you are cooking in your thermo, as long as you are at 100 degrees or hotter, you can steam at the same time. I just super fancy got some frozen mixed veg because sometimes I just need to make it easy for myself. And this is a great way to do that. So this, you can grab your scales, or that's a 500-gram bag. I'm just going to use about a third of it. Maybe half. I'm going to go half the bag. So just got my fancy frozen peas, corn, and carrots in my Varoma. You can use whatever you like there though. And we've got 10 minutes on that timer. It says prolong to cook your pasta if needed. As I said, that Veta one doesn't need a whole lot. Be careful you don't overcook it. It can come out quite soft and mushy. So Varoma on with your veggies on the top and let that steam while you are cooking your main dish. So a great way to add a little bit of extra goodness into your diet. So his kids love protein bars, $4 each. Try to buy them when they're on special. That is a killer, Zoe. Absolutely. And Leanne has just asked, did I see a spiralizer was coming? So yes, in the new year, we do have a spiralizer attachment coming to our cutter, which is really exciting. Great for your meal prep, for your veggies, your salads, things like that. You will be able to spiralize and zoodles. You can make zoodles and you can make something else that it does as well. And Elise Mackey has just joined, who is my lovely business development manager. Elise, what is the other thing that the new spiralizer attachment can do? It does zoodles and it does...
So it either does spirals or it does ribbons. So yeah, zoodles like your zucchini noodles, but also if you're wanting to like a slinky potato or a slinky cucumber sort of thing, it can do those as well.
Thank you so much. That was perfect timing because I was just like, I've just gone blank and I cannot remember. But that will be coming in the new year, and our cutter is currently a host reward. So if you have any questions about that, please yell out. And if you did have any friends come along tonight, I will be in contact to chat to you about your host reward. So our first step is preheating your oven to 160 degrees, and then we're going to place some almonds in our mixing bowl. Now, I put that over here. If you do have a nut allergy or you don't like nuts for whatever reason, you can skip the almonds. That is fine. We do use peanut butter as well, so you just need to use a different kind of butter there for yourself as well. So 100 grams of raw almond. Almonds are packed full of protein. They're full of good fats, all the good things that we want in our diet. And we're going to use that amazing turbo function again. And that one's going to just be on 1 second. Now have a little look and see how your almonds are looking. Again, we don't want to overdo them, but we can always go more. Now, as I said before, that turbo won't open until you're out of that function. I'm pretty happy with that. I've got some larger ones, some finer ones, which is perfect for my granola bars. Then we're going to add our peanut butter and honey. And we're going to warm for 1 minute. I'm actually going to take my almonds out of my bowl as I do that. I will edit that recipe to remove your almonds before I send this one to you guys. Just use your blades back and forth. There we go. All right. So we are going to go in with peanut butter. We've got 200 grams of peanut butter and 150 grams of our honey. Now, our peanut butter, again, packed full of goodness. And it is going to help to keep our bars together as well. Is anybody making their own peanut butter, almond butter, any of your nut butters in your thermo? Put it in the chat. Let me know. 150 grams of honey. That's quite a lot of honey, I know. As I said, it is also helping to keep them binded together and give you that little bit of sweetness. So there is no sugar in there. So your honey is that natural sweetness, which is much better for you. So we're just going to warm those up, melt those down. We've just got 1 minute on 50 degrees and around to 0.5 speed. I've made a hot mess in my kitchen, which is pretty standard for me on any day of the week. All right, just having a look at our chat box. So while that is happening, I will show you that yogurt that I made. So I did message Elise earlier and say my yogurt had failed, which I was a bit annoyed at because I never have yogurt fails. And I thought to myself, of course it's going to fail when I have a class on tonight. But it did not. I cooked it, I fermented it just for a smidge longer, and it actually came out quite well. So this yogurt I put on this morning at about 8 a.m. So it ferments for 10 hours in your Varoma. This one over here. Is anybody making their own yogurt at the moment in their Thermomix? Pop it in the chat and let me know if you are. So this one is a soy yogurt. So I did say that I am recently lactose intolerant. I could make lactose-free yogurt as well, but I do like kind of changing it up. So this is a soy protein yogurt. So this has only been in the fridge for about half an hour, so it's not fully set yet, but you can see it's got some really nice thickness to it already. So this one has soy milk, coconut yogurt. You do need a little bit of yogurt to make yogurt. Soy yogurt, coconut milk, protein powder, a dairy-free protein powder, which I'll show you in a moment, some vanilla and a little bit of sugar. So a kilo of protein yogurt there. Absolutely delicious. I follow the natural yogurt mixing bowl method. No, the natural yogurt Varoma method. And I add some vanilla essence as a little bit of flavor, and I always add that little bit of sugar as well. But I can send you through this recipe as well if you're looking for a dairy-free protein yogurt. But if you are able to have dairy, you can follow that recipe, and instead of putting milk powder, put some protein powder. So that is going to increase the protein. That mixed with our powder is a perfect breakfast, ready to go, absolutely delicious. You could portion it out for yourself each day or just grab and scoop, top with some nuts, seeds, fruits, whatever you like, and away you go. Making your own yogurt is a huge money saver, absolutely massive money saver. And I really struggle with protein yogurt because they fill it with artificial sweetener. And as I get older, my body does not tolerate artificial sweetener, so I can't have any protein yogurts. But they're also super, super expensive. So being able to make your own is a massive money saver. Even when you're adding your protein powder, this batch of yogurt cost me about $8 for a kilo. So a kilo of protein yogurt with no nasties was $8. So massive money saver. So we have softened our peanut butter and our honey. We don't need it to be fully melted. We just want it to be softer. Hit that next button. And hit that next button. Where we are. There we go. So we're going to go in with some chia seeds. They are also packed full of goodness. Got a bit of protein in them too. So we're going to go 50 grams of chia seeds. Every time I eat chia seeds, I get them in my teeth, and they're impossible to get out, but they're so delicious. I can't help myself. 50 grams of our chia seeds. We're going 250 grams of oats, so just our rolled oats. Buy the Woolies brand Australian rolled oats. They are about $1.50 for a bag. Much cheaper than buying any of the other brands. And also the Quick oats are the world's biggest ripoff, so steer away from those. They're also packed full of nasties, so you just want your standard oats. Perfect for your...
Just a couple of questions around what protein powder you use.
Yes. That is about to go in now. So we are also going to add 100 grams of our protein powder, and then I can tell you guys a little bit about this one. So 100 grams of protein powder. You could leave your protein powder out of this recipe. It is just going to reduce the amount of protein in them, but they're still going to be a really yummy, great, healthy snack for you. So I like to use the tasteless protein powder. We've just got 30 seconds on speed, 3.5, reverse. So this is the Feel Good Tasteless Protein Powder. So it took me years to find a good protein powder. I've always struggled a little bit with dairy, so protein powders can be really hard to find a good one. And then, as I said, I really struggle with, I'm so old. My gut is just so sensitive these days. I really struggle with artificial sweeteners. So most protein powders are packed full of that kind of stuff. I also can't do artificial flavors. So thank you, Elise, for linking that one in the chat. This is the Tasteless Protein Powder. It is a collagen protein powder. but it is amazing. You can even mix it into tea and coffee. Elise has it in her coffee every morning. I have been known to put it in a cup of tea, like a teaspoon of it in a cup of tea if I'm feeling a bit hungry. It can go in anything. It can go in your baking. It goes in your yogurt. It can go on top of your yogurt. So you can just make yogurt, spoon it on your yogurt, give it a stir through. Put it in your granola, in your carta, absolutely anything, because it is tasteless. So it is a genuinely tasteless, which is amazing. So that one there, link in the chat, Feel Good Protein, tasteless, one of the best proteins I have found. Has anybody used that protein powder before? Oh, we've even got a discount code there. Thank you, Elise. Has anyone used the tasteless protein powder? A couple of comments about yogurt as well, which I'll read in a moment. So we have combined all of those delicious bits and pieces in our granola bars. Give it a little scrape down, because you do want to make sure that all of your peanut butter isn't still sitting at the bottom, because if it hasn't mixed through properly, they're not going to stick together and they're going to crumble, which is fine. They will still taste good, but they're going to be a little bit harder to eat. So scrape it down, really dig down to the bottom there. Use your muscles. And 10 seconds, speed 3.5 again, just repeating that one. So it's just a little bit stuck because of that peanut butter down the bottom. I'm just going to give it, twist those blades at the bottom. Give it a good stir. And really get down there and just make sure you've kind of moved it off the bottom. There we go. Didn't dig it hard enough before. Might actually use a spoon or a fork. It's going to make my life a bit easier. So when your blades make a bit of that sound, I'm not sure if you heard, because I do have AirPods on, but they make like an ee-oo kind of sound. It does just mean that they are a little bit stuck. So see how that goes. There we go. We're back on there for that last 10 seconds. Oh, Christo uses that protein powder, orders 3 at a time. I do as well. They do make it paper shipping, so I do try to spend a little bit more to get it cheaper. That looks perfect now. So we have mixed that. So it does still look a little bit dry, which is normal. Don't panic. We are going to pop that aside into our trays to set. I don't think just realized my quiche timer didn't go off. Let's just grab that one out. Pop that one over there for now. I'll show you that in just a moment. So quickly over here, because I don't want my pasta to overcook. Have a little bit of a look how your pasta's doing. That looks great. So you want to check it, make sure that you don't overcook it if you are using the protein pasta. Make sure you don't undercook it if you're using a different kind of pasta. But we can pop that one into a bowl if you like. And then I will portion it out in a moment, but I will just pour those veggies that we've added back in. I might just manually give that a little bit of a stir, because it's just nice and quick. Now, I really enjoyed this tuna pasta cold as well. I found it really, really yummy cold. That was my personal preference, but that was even easier because I could just grab my container that I've portioned it into and just eat it while it's cold instead of having to microwave it. But with something like this, would portion it into my 5 portions and pop it in the fridge that way. Then I can just grab my containers and go. So if you haven't done any meal prep before, need a bigger kitchen, I would recommend heading to Kmart or something and buying a stack of containers that you can reuse, because that's going to make your life much easier. So we've got our tuna pasta there, which we're going to let cool for just a moment. while we finish off our granola bars. Then I've got a couple of tips and tricks for you, and then we will wrap it up. So, also misplaced my dishcloth. I actually think I put it in the wash. Excuse me for using a tea towel to wipe my bench. I do have some of the silicone bar molds from the mix shop. These are perfect for making things like muesli bars, granola bars. You can even make like muffins, slices in them as well. And I only have one of those, so I do have some slightly bigger mini loaf things that I'm going to use as well. You want to scoop your mixture in. Now you do want about 18 out of these, so you can work out what's going to be the best way to portion them out for yourself. A little bit more. And then we're just going to push them down. I'm just going to use my hand because I find that the easiest. With something like this, because it is such a loose mixture, you need to make sure that you are pushing it down properly, because if you don't, they won't stick together. And when they come out of the oven, as I said earlier, they're just going to end up crumbling. So use a spoon to kind of flatten it down a little. And then you can use your hand, your fingers, or just keep using the back of your spoon, whatever works for you. So give it a little push. And then you can top them with whatever you like. You might want to add a couple of chopped chips. Don't go overboard. Just a few if you like. You might want to put some pepitas, sunflower seeds, a drizzle of melted chocolate. What kind of things would you like to pop on the top of these ones on your granola bars? Pop it in the chat. Let me know. Give it a good push down. Zoe asked about the pasta. Can you use something else instead of tuna? So if you are not a tuna fan, you can absolutely add some chicken to that, any kind of other protein, or you might like to add some beans. Kidney beans would be a really nice high protein option as well. Just anything that's going to give you that protein hit to keep you full. But you absolutely can. You could just sub tuna for chicken, cut it into kind of bite-sized pieces and pop it in to cook. It should cook perfectly in that amount of time. I never used to be a massive tuna fan, but I don't mind it in something like that. Just go around and give them a bit of a flatten over even. Make sure they're nice and tight. And then pop with whatever extras you want to put on top, and then into the oven for 15 to 20 minutes at 160 degrees. Still got quite a lot of mixture there, which is going to make the rest of them, but we don't need to watch me do all of those. So there is your high protein granola bars, 200 calories, 12 grams of protein, and at just 71 cents to make those. So absolute bargain, delicious, and they keep perfectly, as I said, in the freezer. So those 18 bars will last you a couple of weeks if it's just you, or perfect to share with the family. What do you reckon? You're going to try those ones? I can actually show you one that is baked. So these are the ones that I had in the freezer from last week. So I just popped a couple of chopped chips on the top there. Yum, a little bit crunchy. They stick together really nicely and absolutely delicious. So I'm going to finish my granola bars off in just a moment. Our quiche is ready. We've done our yogurt and our fresh muesli or our kara. So in an hour, we have been cooking for 1 hour. We have made 2 lunches, a breakfast, and a snack. So meal prep made easy with your Thermomix, which is exactly what we want to be doing. So our pasta over here, grab my containers out. Depending on what I'm having, I do just have some of these, literally just some cheap plastic containers. They said the recipe does say that that gets 5, but I found, it says it gets 4, but I found 5 was better for me. Okay. We've got our tuna pasta with that added veg. We said that one had about 40 grams of protein as well, about 400 and something calories a serve, if that is what you're interested in. If meal prep you're interested in just to make your life easier, that is great. This is a 30-minute start to finish recipe with really basic ingredients as well. So delicious hot, really yummy cold as well. And now I have my meal prep done for the week. One of the good things about being a Thermomix consultant, doing lots of things virtual like I do, I've now prepped my lunches, my hubby's lunches, breakfast, and some snacks as well while I'm working. What more could you want? So tuna pasta with veg. It is not the prettiest recipe, this one, but it is delicious and so quick and easy and cheap. When you are using tuna, this is a really cheap meal as well. We've got a little bit of our Parmesan cheese. Give it a bit of a sprinkle. You could leave that off if you wanted to. Whatever works for you. I'm only going to use about half of that, but there we go. Sorry, Leanne, I didn't cost the tuna dish. I will pop that in my little kind of follow-up I send you guys after this with all of the bits and pieces from tonight. But it will only be a couple of dollars a serve if you are using tuna. So we've got our tuna pasta, our granola bars. So just put over here. I'll just put these ones out. So we've got lunch, we've got snacks, we've got our breakfast, which was our pata, and our protein yogurt, which I shall dish up. As I said, this needs to sit in the fridge a little bit longer to thicken up, but still looks pretty great. And I will send you the recipe for my dairy-free protein yogurt there as well. And then we've got our muesli. So with your vacuum seals, to unseal them, you pull the little bit in the middle that will release all of that air. And as I said, 4 servings for this one. And then I would like to top that with some strawberries, maybe pepitas. I really love pepitas. A little bit extra to make it even yummier. Maybe some more almonds, anything like that. And then our quiche. Just grab my... Here is our healthier quiche Lorraine, maybe with our wholemeal flour and packed full of veggies. As I said, with that one, I like to cut it into 4. So just straight down, and across, and then into a container, into my vacuum seal for the week as well. And I can just grab a slice and go for my lunches. It'll be Dean's lunch this week, and I'm going to have the tuna pasta. But as I said, in less than an hour, while I've been doing all this talking to you guys, I have made high protein, fresh ingredient, delicious breakfast, 2 different lunches, and a batch of my high protein granola bars as well. So meal prepping with a Thermomix is all about making your life easier, helping you to save quite a lot of money. You're not impulse buying. Plus, when you're batch cooking, it's always going to be a little bit cheaper, using up some of those leftover ingredients that you may not have been using, so reducing your waste as well, and helping you to eat more protein, so it's going to keep you fuller for longer, which is going to help you to be a healthier version of yourself, which is wonderful. So we'll send some tips and tricks in my little ebook that I have for you guys with some recipe options and things like that. But I'll just check my little notes that I had written down. So some of our high protein options that you can add into any dishes to up the protein in them to keep you fuller. Nuts, seeds, beans, lentils are all brilliant. Veggies, some of your veggies are protein packed as well. And then, of course, you've got your meats like chicken, turkey, things like that, seafood, tuna are all going to be really high protein as well. Lots of cookie dough recipes are great options for meal prep. You might look at something and think maybe it doesn't tick the boxes with protein or with calories, whatever it is that you're interested in. But remember, you can make lots of those little changes. So reducing your oil, adding in more vegetables, subbing out dairy for a dairy-free option, lots of great things like that is going to reduce calories, and then adding your high protein bits and bobs in there as well. If you have a TM6, the egg boiler mode will be your best friend. You can do some hard boiled eggs in that one as well, which is great. And using those scales to weigh everything out can make life easier too. I don't get too worried about my portion sizes. I just kind of use my eye to get them around similar, but you might like to weigh out each portion if that's what you're interested in as well. Some of my other ideas we talked about for breakfast were egg cups and overnight oats. Protein porridge is a great one too. So I love making porridge in my Thermomix and adding some of my protein powder, then topping with nuts and seeds as well. The smoothie bowls or smoothies that are on Cookie Do as well are brilliant options too. And then, of course, our yogurt and butter or yogurt and granola. There's some really, really simple granola recipes on there as well, which is brilliant for you too. So use Cookie Do to search for some different options, create a few collections, save some things, and start small if you're not currently doing your meal prep at the moment, and see how you go. Some of the other lunches that I love are the meatballs in tomato sauce with some rice and veggies, the pasta with tuna, the quiche, Chinese style chicken, coconut chicken curry with cauliflower rice or with regular rice, the corn and bean salad. You could always add some chicken to that as well if you wanted to up that protein even more. But I will send some of those options through to you. Have a bit of a browse through Cookie Do, as I said, and pick out some things that you think might make some good meal prep meals for you. And then some really great snacks on there as well. I will send you my granola bar recipe. We could do things like our protein yogurt and Carter. That is a good afternoon pick-me-up, not just a breakfast one as well. You can do some of the tray bake protein pancakes, slice it up and freeze that to make your life nice and easy. There is a great protein loaded banana bread, bliss balls, protein muffins, lots of things like that. Adding cottage cheese into your baked goods is a good way to up that protein as well, and into things like eggs and that too. So that's a good option for you there. But just a reminder that we do have that $100 Mix Shop referral voucher. We've got our amazing TM5 trade up coming back for the next week and a half only. And of course, we have our amazing new gift with purchase starting tomorrow of our free second bowl and a $200 Woolies voucher, which can help you with your meal prep. So if you have any questions about any of those things, please let me know. We also have double host rewards running at the moment. So big thank you to anyone who invited their friends along tonight. If you have any questions, please pop them in the chat box and I would love to answer them for you now. I will shoot you through a follow-up email. As I said, please check your junk. I always end up in people's junk boxes. So I will do that probably tomorrow at some stage. So that will have some great recipe links, tips and tricks, things like that in it. And I would like to say a big thank you to all of you that came along to learn a little bit more about how to use your Thermomix to meal prep. I would love if you could pop in the chat and let me know what was your favorite dish that you saw tonight, or what was your favorite thing that you learned? What are you really excited to try? Do you feel a little bit more confident about meal prep if you were someone who said that it's not something that you're doing but you would like to be? Have you learned some things that might make your life a little bit easier? Pop them in the chat and let me know. Kylie's just said, I get so overwhelmed by Cookie Do. It's like choosing a show on Netflix. I browse and browse and browse, and then I don't bother. Having some tried and true recipe options would be great. Kylie, I do that with Netflix all the time. I sit there and then I give up and I go to bed. I spend too long looking for things. Cookie Do, I find I'm a little bit more decisive. I'm like, yep, I'm going to do that. Or I love to use the filters on Cookie Do. So I will send you through my recipe choices, which will help you. But if you haven't seen my Cookie Do workshop and you would like to have a watch, please let me know and I can send you a recording of it. That may help you just with filters and things like that, which might make Cookie Do a little bit easier for you, because it is an amazing platform, but there is a lot on there. Josie said, I love following consultants on social media for recommendations. Couldn't agree more. Seeing what we are making is a great way to do it as well. Tracy's excited about the pasta. Zoe liked all the suggestions and some great tips and tricks. Alice is going to try the cutter with some homemade yogurt. Love it. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming along, everybody. If you have any questions about anything at all, please reach out. I'm always here to help. And it was nice to see you all. I am doing next Wednesday night on the 30th, a fast summer meals recipe, a fast summer meals virtual cooking class. You can find the link to register in my bio on Instagram. So jump over and register to that one. That is next Wednesday night on Zoom as well. So I hope to see you there. Thanks again, everybody, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.